Welcome to the Dungeon Crawl Classics Road Crew game Stories from Valtara. I am your judge, Shadowfoot. This will be an ongoing actual play of the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG in a homebrew region of my making. We'll follow a group of villagers as they seek to become more than just lowly craftsmen and peasants, seeking riches and glory through sword and sorcery, or die trying. The following is episode 11, and our party investigates rumors around town. An iron shipment from Ironend has finally arrived after several months without word from the settlement, and the caravan drivers were acting quite strangely and have seemed to have disappeared. What has caused the delay in iron shipments and what happened to the caravan drivers? Find out now as we travel back to Valtara. Alright, welcome back to Valtara, guys. So for those of you who played in the last session, you remember you went and investigated some going-ons at a nearby farm to the south. The livestock was being attacked by creatures at night, and the night watchman disappeared as well. In the time that you guys were doing something else, a second night watchman disappeared. So you guys went to investigate what was going on, ended up staying there for, several days before anything happened. You had taken over the night watch for the farmer, and after a few nights, some wolves came and attacked. You fought off the wolves, and then the next morning went searching for where they had come from. As you found them inside a cave, you searched inside, found a cave full of some bones and other things of that nature. Were attacked by quite a few of the wolves. As you fought off the wolves and got down to the last couple, a werewolf came out and attacked. Fighting off the werewolf, you were able to take him down and found that the werewolf was the original night watchman. However, he got transformed, you're not sure. But you ended up taking him down. He died. You took his body back to the farmer, and you found a few items in the caves as well. But the second night watchman was nowhere to be found, so still not sure where he is. But you got paid your wages for your night watching. He ended up, tripling the wages for taking out the werewolf and the wolves, and you guys were able to make it back to town. So as you guys make it back to town, you guys know that from the earthquake that happened quite a ways back, you guys were the northern search party. The western search parties returned. The southern search party kind of half returned, but you had to go rescue them. So they've returned. The eastern party you have not seen yet. So the party that headed towards the mountains and Ironend over to the east has not returned yet, and you've also heard some of the workers in the local taverns and things talking about how there hasn't been any iron shipments coming in. So those who work in the iron mills have been kind of out of work for a little while. So there's something stopping iron from coming. And what else has been going on? I think everything else you guys are pretty much have been up to date with. But so as you guys have gotten back to town, anything you guys want to be doing in the meantime as you guys get back to town from spending a few days out south in the farmlands?
I guess I want to talk to my trainer and see if there's anything I can do about my impending corruption.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing too. Go ahead and roll me a luck check for your corruption. Ooh, is your luck that low right now?
My luck is 7.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's currently 6. So
6,
yeah, you can feel like
your luck to change the roll.
For that, no, you can't. So with that, you can feel that like your lips have started to purse and harden a little bit, and like your nose is kind of extending to where the tip of your nose and the top of lip are starting to kind of come together, and starting to kind of like firm up, becoming very, very hard. So you're not like, you just look like someone with a long nose and very pursed lips currently, but you can feel the transformation on your face as your face is slowly, gradually turning into a beak. All right, so with that, you guys are, you go talk to your trainer, and they tell you, corruption is something very, very difficult. It usually takes higher end magic, or purifying magic from a cleric or something like that to help cleanse that, or strong acts from your patron. But at the time, there's nothing that they can think of that can help you with that. Um, so that you guys spend some time in town. You guys are, maybe get back together and are having a meal in the tavern. And you see someone, we'll say this is probably like midday, lunchtime. There's a table next to you, and you can see a couple workers. They're covered in like soot, and they're wearing their overalls and things like that. And they're talking, and they look like they've had a very, very long day already. And you can hear them talking about how the iron has finally come back. A delivery of iron has finally come, and we are, in full swings trying to make up for a lot of the orders that haven't been fulfilled lately. And there's about 3 or 4 of them talking there, and one of them seems to be the person who actually receives the shipments, is talking, and they mention a man named Sildar and Magnus. Sildar and Magnus delivered it, and they seem a bit confused because they're talking that Sildar and Magnus are usually the guys that bring the iron, but this time when they came, like, they seemed much more short-tempered and rude. Usually they're quite jolly folk. They seemed very, very rude. They kept their hoods up the whole time, which was kind of off-putting, and it was just very uncharacteristic for the two of them. As like I said, they're usually quite jovial and friendly. And so you've heard this, this table talking, these iron workers, and they're just excited to have work to do again because it's been so long. But they weren't given any excuse either for why the iron had been delayed. And that is what you guys hear while you are at lunch. While you are here too, you are enjoying your meal. A kind of a white, or Martin, you can describe yourself as a person approaches you. So Martin, you can describe your character if you'd like.
Sure, yeah. So like this older gentleman with white hair and a beard, kind of rough looking a little bit. Approaches and sorry, what was
just kind of like what he looks like. You're approaching them. You've probably heard that these guys have been doing work out there. They've been making a name for themselves. So they're well known in the town at this point because they've done quite a few things. So what would be your motivations for joining the party? You're basically going and asking. You're asking to join them for why are you asking to join them?
Oh, hello. Are you guys this party I've been hearing about? You've been doing a lot of jobs here and there and gotten kind of successful.
Well, we haven't died yet, so I guess that's a success.
Oh yes, that sounds very good. Not dying is very helpful. Hello, my name is Kurt. I was wondering about joining your party, perhaps. I could use a little bit of gold here and there, and I would think I can be of help.
What is your skill set, Kurt?
In my years, I've picked up a little bit of skills here and there. When I was younger, I've been, good with my hands. I've been stealing a little bit, but not so much anymore. But maybe my relatively quick agility would still be of help, even if my body is a bit older now.
Well, Kurt, I think that would be a welcome addition. Where numbers are dwindling, it's a little concerning. Me and Levi here, we're some of the holdouts, for lack of a better word. Yeah, I mean, a man of your skills, I suppose, could aid us to temporarily replace our good friend the barber, who would have a similar skill set to yours that was very useful to us in the past. So, Kurt, why don't you don't you pull up a seat and we'll talk some more.
Oh, yes, very nice. Very nice to hear. Yeah, I'll gladly join you. And I'll pull a seat to the table and sit down. So, do you guys have anything you're working on right now?
Not what we're working on right now, but you hear a lot of things in places like this, establishments like this, and we just heard a possible useful rumor. Actually, there was some issues with iron out east, and also well, geez, it would have been months back now, but a search party went out east as well, to see if they could investigate the earthquake that occurred. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes, very much.
And that's a little concerning that our search party that went to the north and the search party to the west returned. We rescued the search party to the south, but the east is to this day still not returned, and now we're hearing more issues. So it might be high time to investigate the mountains.
Oh yes, that is concerning. I've heard somebody talking about the who was it? Magnus and Sildar. They've been acting odd, I've heard.
Yes, I think that's the rumor going around. Yes, and has to do with the mines and iron. So possibly connected to the search party. Who knows, right? It's going to be a long trek out there. So we may find the answers we're looking for. We may not, but I think that would be our next destination. Do you agree, Levi?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Although the thought of an iron mill unnerves me a little bit, being an elf. But
wear gloves.
Yeah, we'll pick up a good set of gloves from the store before we go.
All right, well, you guys know that the iron mill is out in the port quarter, where all the warehouses and the lumber mills and everything else are. Just for, I don't think any of you worked out in those mills necessarily, but you're at least familiar with the goings-ons out there. You've probably been out in that direction, going to the docks and things of that nature for whatever reasons. And you know that merchants that bring the wood from Elm's Reach, the merchants that bring the iron from Ironend, there are cabins and things for those day laborers and workers and traveling workers to use out there for stays while they're in town before they turn around and head back. So that is a possibility of something you can go search, or you guys can decide to just start heading out east in search of Ironend. You know that Ironend is a good long trek. It'll probably take you a minimum of almost a month to get out to Ironend with the terrain that you have to pass in order to get there.
Yeah, I suppose this is our best lead as of now.
Information is power, so for the length of time that it's going to take to get to Ironend, we may as well glean what information we can from the port before we leave.
That sounds like a good idea. Yes.
All right, so you guys gonna finish your lunch and head over to the port quarter?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, and then you guys gather up your things. You're currently out in the Cat Bowl. This is you go to the tavern out there. Is the one that you usually go to. Remind myself which one that is. That was I believe it was the Dancing Dragon is the one that you usually go to for your meals and get-togethers, because it's right there at the central square. So you guys head down south, cross the bridge over to Cattle Song, and then make your way around to the port quarter. As you get towards the port quarter, the first buildings you come across are mostly those day houses. They're basically just strips of like, think of like a motel type thing where there's several one-room buildings all set together for merchants. You see some empty wagons and out front there's some horse stables off to the side where the merchant horses are being kept and fed and groomed so that they can get some rest before heading back to wherever they're coming from. As you pass by that, you start getting into some warehouses. You see on the outside images of wood, images of iron, images of fish and different things like that as well. And as you go further in, you eventually come to the iron mill. The iron mill. Pop this out so I remember all my notes I took. So the iron mill is called the Green Casing Refinery. As the Iron Forge, you see the image of what looks like fire underneath what looks like pieces of iron, and that's what's on their banner hanging above the door. That helps you identify this as the iron mill. As you approach, there's two large front doors that are currently open, and as you approach, you can immediately feel like heat coming out of this building. Inside, you can see like that orange glow of forges that are currently melting down the raw material, separating it from the rock, and melting it and starting to put it into iron bars that they can prepare and ship off. You see probably 24 workers at a minimum, hurriedly moving about. There's 2 carts full of what looks like raw iron, so it's like large pieces of rock with this like grayish silver material just marbled through it. Workers are unloading it into some wheelbarrows, and the workers move it across over towards a couple of forges where they have to go up these big ramps with these wheelbarrows. Usually there'll be like 2 or 3 people pushing and one pulling to get these things all the way up to the top. And they get to the top, and then they lift the wheelbarrow, and you see it plunk down inside these large metal drums that the raw material goes inside of. And every time you see that, you feel like a burst of air just come back out of the double doors at the front. So it is quite warm, quite busy at the time. So what would you like to do?
I'm going to hang back as far as possible from any of those carts. All of this just kind of is unsettling to me. So,
Nightmare fuel.
yeah.
Does there look like there's a foreman or somebody standing around or supervising or anything?
As you look around, it seems like most of the people are hurriedly working. It's hard to figure out which one as the foreman. But as you're working, you see one of the carts that looks like he's maybe running a little bit too fast. He kind of trips and it falls over. And you then see like one guy come out of a door to the right. And he runs over to the guy, and it looks like he's checking on him and stuff like that, making sure he's okay. Helps him back up, kind of gives him a little bit of a scold, and he gets back to what he's doing and takes off. And the guy who came out of the office turns around and starts slowly walking back towards that office. Looks like he could possibly be someone in charge.
I'll try to flag him down or yell really loudly because I'm sure it's loud in here.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yeah, lots of clanging and noise going on, lots of yelling as people are giving each other orders and things like that. And then of course the sound of fire and the furnaces there as well. He sees you and comes walking towards the front, pulls out looks like a completely soiled rag from his back pocket and wipes the sweat off of his forehead. And he's, "What can I do for you?"
I think it might be the reverse. It might be something we can do for you. Do you have a few moments to just step outside out of the heat and the loud noises, just for a bit of comfort and have a quick conversation?
I'm quite busy. We're well behind on our orders and our work, but I could use a break from the heat. Let's step around the corner. And as he steps around the corner, the next building is probably it's like one building away from the water. So you guys go around the corner, and you're now catching just a slight breeze off of the lake. That is quite cooling. For you guys, it might even be a little bit chilly, but for him, like you can tell, like just the relief on him. He wipes his brow a bit more and the back of his neck, and then puts that rag in his back pocket. Oh yeah, that's much better. Well, what can I do for you? Why are you here?
Well, we heard that you might have some issues with a couple fellows. Magnus, was it? And sorry, I'm blanking on the other gentleman's name.
It was Sildar.
Yeah.
Magnus and Sildar. Yeah, they've been bringing us iron for years. Such friendly folk, but when they came in a couple days ago, they were just outright rude, impatient, just giving us all sorts of hard times and trouble. I didn't have any workers here at the time, so when their delivery came in, it took us a while to get them unloaded and on their way. But usually they'd be fine with that. But this time they were quite rude. I'm not sure why. And the strange thing was too, they kept their cloaks up the whole time. They never keep their hoods up. And when they finished their work, they didn't even thank us for unloading their carts, and they just headed off towards the day camp. And haven't seen them since. Usually they at least come and check in.
Very strange behavior. And how long have you known these gentlemen?
Oh, we're going back at least 15 years.
Oof, yeah, it's very odd behavior for somebody you've known for that long.
Aye, agreed.
Could you, by chance, tell us where this day camp is? I think we would like to speak to these gentlemen, which, by virtue of the work they do, it might aid you in your business to catch up on your orders.
Day camp. Yeah, chances are you passed it on your way in. It's that line of small shacks right there at the entrance to the port quarter. It's where all the traveling merchants bringing us iron and wood and ore and such like that. They always make their day stays there before turning around and heading back.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, and may Dainthar keep your forges hot.
Aye, thank you. At that, he's like, if there's nothing else, I must get back.
Do any of you other guys do you have any questions for him before we cut him loose?
Oh no, I think you just answered all my questions too.
Oh well then, good day to you. And he brings out his rag and wipes his forehead one more time and puts it back in his pocket and heads back inside the forge. All right. So as you go, there is a tavern here in the port quarter that you pass, the Captain's Wheel. So you pass that on the way. It looks like it's quite busy. Again, since Iron is behind, they brought in basically all their workers, so they're taking their shifts, and it looks like there's quite a few people in the Captain's Wheel having a meal and a drink before heading back to work. And you pass that by and end up walking in, and so this area looks like it's basically a probably 14, 15 rooms, one room hotel room kind of layout, or motel more likely. And they're not the best buildings. They're almost just like kind of general shacks of sorts. And you see like one building at the end that looks a little bit nicer. It's more brick and well built, and hanging over that is the image of like a bed. So you would assume that this is most likely the office.
Cool. Ocean. Find some folks to talk to. Should we go to the tavern, maybe?
I mean, we can go wherever. We have to find them at some point, surely.
As you guys are walking in between these two, you hear like a woman calling for her dog, and just yelling out, and then like, "Oh, where is that damned beast? Where did it go?" And looking for her dog, and she's kind of like walking from like alley to alley, and kind of walks off into the distance.
Well, I sure hope there are no dog-eating monsters around here.
or starving people that are just a little desperate.
Well, all that.
Or werewolves that eat dogs.
Yeah.
Perhaps the dog was a werewolf. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
We're human.
Shall we head in?
Yeah, let's go in.
All right, where are you heading in?
The tavern, I think.
All right. You guys head into the captain's wheel. As you head in here, Hundo, you've probably at least been in here at least once. You know that this is a spot where a lot of, all the day labor or the laborers from the port quarter always go here for their meals and things like that, but it also has a bit of a shady side to it. You know that this is a place frequented by, thieves and mercenaries and those kind of workers. So you've probably been here once or twice with your kind of mercenary type background. So you know the place fairly well. You know Horace, the male halfling that runs this place. And you can see that he is quite busy behind the bar, filling beverages. His barmaids are bringing food out to all the different tables and things of that nature. And there's probably every single table has at least one or two people sitting at it, eating hurriedly, and you can see them all eating with very quickly, so they can get back to work. And there's probably 5 or 6 barmaids running around as well.
Oh, should we ask one of the staff here, perhaps, if they've seen the 2 gentlemen we are looking for?
Yeah, we can do that. I would just ask a quick question, if I could. Is there anybody eating that's hooded?
Just give me an intelligence check as you kind of look around. Looking around, you don't see any hooded figures. All the windows are open, and in any dark corners there are lanterns lit and things of that nature. So it is quite bright in here. So you don't see anyone that stands out as though they are trying to hide their appearance.
Okay, I know I'm terrible at this, but I'll keep a lookout anyway, just while the others discuss with the wait staff, just in case somebody notices us asking questions and tries to ditch out the back or something.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right. So who would you like to approach?
Well, the wait staff that are running around seem pretty busy. Is there maybe a bartender or somebody?
Yes. So there's a halfling, a male halfling, behind the bar. It looks like his, from the waist up is still over the bar. So, recognizing that he seems to be a halfling, you assume that there's some kind of platform that he's walking back and forth on, not, on the ground. And he's hurriedly moving back and forth. He's, filling ales and taking it to the corner where the barmaids will grab it and take it. And then he fills 1 or 2 ales to the people that are sitting at the bar. So he looks like he's quite busy, but he is there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look up to him.
Okay. What can I get you?
Hi. Actually, I was not even looking for anything to drink. I was wondering if I could ask you any questions, perhaps. You seem pretty busy, but maybe...
If you're not thirsty, I've got no time for you.
Ah, that is quite unfortunate. Is there anybody here that's perhaps not incredibly busy right now that I could ask?
It's lunchtime. We're all quite busy. And he goes back and he's pouring another ale.
I'll yell to Kurt, order me a beer, would you? I'll pay for it.
You know what? Never mind. Could you get me a beer? Or something?
Just a general ale? I got that for you. And 2 silver. And he starts filling up another ale for you. It's quite a large mug. All right, if you're ordering, I can answer a question for you real quick while I fill this up. What's your question?
Lovely. So we were actually looking for 2 gentlemen by the names of Magnus and Sildar, I think. Do you know them by any chance?
Yes, the Iron Caravan. Yes, they're in here all the time.
Ah, very nice. Are they in here currently?
No, I haven't seen them since last night.
Ah, last night. I see. Did you know where they are staying or going?
Well, usually they stay at the day laborers camp just around the corner. Not sure where they're going. I didn't speak with them myself.
Ah, it's all right. We can ask them ourselves. Thank you very much. And I'll grab the ale and bring it over.
All right. And you can see he just immediately just disregards you and goes back to what he's doing.
All right, I guess I'm chugging a beer unless we can sit down for a minute. Is there any open chairs?
Yeah, you can find some open chairs. Probably split between like two tables that are right next to each other. Because every single table has at least one or two people sitting there. And you can go sit down at one of the tables and you can see the worker on the other side, like, just doesn't even look up. He just continues eating, drinking his meal. He's probably there for, another minute or two past the time you sitting down. Doesn't even really interact with you unless you interact with him.
That's all right.
He finishes his meal, gets up, and heads out.
Don't need to bug people on their lunch break, but I'll sit there and I'll drink my beer and look at the crowd and see if I can take my time with it to see if I can scan for people that might fit these guys' descriptions or, have another look for shady individuals.
All right. Everyone go ahead and give me a luck check.
Okay.
Oh, not a good start. All right, I think we're just waiting on Hundo.
We haven't had Hundo today, I don't think.
Yeah, Hundo, I don't think he's in there.
Oh, yeah, we're missing Hundo, huh? Did I take out the wrong token? Who am I missing? Who's not on the screen? Oh, yeah, it's just three of you. All right. So that's all three of you? Yeah, so 17, 17, and 11. So, yeah, you guys are sitting here. You guys don't notice anyone. The only people that walk back in are the workers. So you don't see anybody that really stands out at all, in or out. But at this point, one of the barmaids kind of walks up and says, "Oh, any food for you folks?"
No, thank you. Not for me.
And she
Yes, not for me either. We are kind of in a hurry, I'm sorry.
"Oh, in a hurry, no worries." All right, she turns around and walks over to the next table. "Any food for you folks?" And is moving on, taking orders. All right, anything else you guys want to do while you're in here then?
Nope, just finish my beer and we can head back over to the camp, I suppose.
Okay, finish your ale. You can leave it there, and as you guys are sitting there finishing your ale, like two more people sit down with their drinks and talking amongst each other back and forth. It looks like they're workers from the lumber mill, busily working on their lunch as well. So you guys are able to head out. As you head out, you head back over to the area with all the day camp. Again, you can see it's basically a bunch of single-roomed motel type, front door type things, all right next to each other, and then one more kind of solid office-looking building.
Do we want to check the office to see if they have a record of the comings and goings, perhaps?
Yeah, let's check with them.
Okay. As you head into the office, there's a little ding as the door opens up. It looks like there's a bell that hangs over the door. As you walk in, it's a small room with a desk at the back corner. There's a couple chairs and a small table in the front corner for someone that's possibly waiting. And there's a door behind the desk. As the bell dings, you see the door open and out walks a kind of older-looking woman. Yes, folks. Need any room?
Not today. No. We're just looking for a couple individuals. They would have came here recently. Magnus and Sildar.
Oh yes, Magnus and Sildar. Yes, it'd been a while since they'd been here. They've came in a couple nights ago. They rented a room, and looks like they haven't checked out yet.
Would you kindly let us know what room they have? We need to speak with these gentlemen, please.
Oh, yes, yes. And she immediately just looks over and says, they're in bungalows number 6 and 8.
Thank you kindly, and I pass her a couple silver.
Quite generous. Thank you.
Cool. Go over there.
All right. You head over to bungalows 6 and 8. And as you're looking, you're walking down the row of rooms. It seems like it's kind of set up where on one side is your even numbers, the other side is the odd numbers. So as you get there, you see that rooms 6 and 8 are immediately next to each other.
These have windows?
Not in the front that you can see.
So give him a little tap on the first door.
All right. Tap, 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 knock on the door. No response.
Maybe try the second door.
Tap, tap, tap. Still no response.
Should we perhaps try picking this lock and even if they're not here, maybe we can still find some valuable information.
Well, that's not my area of expertise, but
I've picked plenty of locks in my days. No problem at all.
All right, if you're going to try to pick one of the locks, go ahead and just give me a lock picking check.
All right.
Oh, yeah, no problem. These are very mundane locks. Seems like they're like very, very basic. You're able to pick this, click, no problem. Takes you no time at all. Levi and Pete, you probably don't even see him pick it. And he's like, oh, this door's unlocked.
I should really invest in some better locks here.
Right.
Well, anyway.
You unlock 6 or 8?
I would say 8. I think we were standing in front of 8 after we knocked on that one.
Yeah, so the door seems unlocked.
Well, then let's have a look.
All right.
And I'll just snoop around. I'm presuming... Well, first, do I see anyone?
The door creaks open. Inside, immediately to the right, you see a table and like 2 chairs. Center of the room on the wall to the right is a small bed, for us like a twin size, very small. And then to the far end, you see another table set up. It looks like there's a large bowl on it, maybe like a wash basin of some sort. And then on the left wall, you open the door, straight in front of you on the wall in the corner there is like a small chest. So it looks like this is what comes in these rooms. You don't see a person of any kind. And there's no additional doors, but on the back wall there is a small window. And it's fairly dim because the curtain is closed, so it's fairly dim inside.
Ah, okay. I think we should open up these curtains a bit, and I'll head over and open them.
Okay. You open the curtain and begin looking around. And as you begin looking around, you feel something kind of sticky on your fingers. As you look down at your hand, there's this strange kind of like slime on your fingers. And you kind of look up and notice that it's on the curtains. And as you look around, you kind of like follow the trail of this slime. You see the slime trail kind of go up all across the ceiling, down the wall, and all of a sudden you start to see that there's kind of like these crisscrossing lines of this slime going all over this room.
Oh, God, what is this?
Yeah, it's not super thick. Think of it as, a slug leaves behind a small trail of slime. That's kind of the sense you get from this. Just slightly larger.
Some went out the window, looks like.
You see slime going up to the window, and the window's currently open, and it does look like a slime trail kind of goes up and out the window.
I'm going
Or
to
in the
chase
window.
that.
You're not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to run outside and look out back to see if I can continue the trail.
All right. You go around back, and as the trail hits kind of like the dirt, it starts to become harder and harder to kind of track. But you see another trail coming out of the window in the next room. which would be room 6.
I'm gonna yell for the guys. I think they're bolting.
Oh, well, then, can you, is one of you maybe good at, well, either identifying what this weird substance is, or maybe following these steps? Following the trail?
I think we'll find out what it is if we can catch them.
Well, that's certainly one way.
Okay. We just run around the front? Or what?
You guys all meeting up in back to follow the trail, or where are you going?
I'm heading there, yeah.
Yeah, let's follow the trail.
Okay. So who is going to be doing the tracking?
Which one of you is good at reading tracks? I'm not so much of a nature guy myself.
Probably Levi with his intelligence, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a +0, but...
Better than my minus.
Better than me.
All right, go ahead and give me an intelligence check to follow the trail.
Oh.
All right, so as you follow the trail, it doesn't go very far, and again, it starts to get lost. It almost feels like there's a road here that it comes across, a dirt track, and the trail immediately gets like broken up by what looks like cart tracks that have gone back and forth. Footpath, as you know, traffic's been moving back and forth through here, which is common for this area. So it gets very, very hard to find the trail, and it almost immediately ends. Go ahead and give me a luck check to see if you can pick it up on the other side. Your luck is real, though. I forgot. So as you get to the other side, you lose track of the trail almost immediately. It seems like the traffic in this area has broken up the trail.
Could I try asking somebody if they saw anybody running?
Yeah, looking around, there's quite a bit of movement going on. Another cart comes by, and you see a couple people walking by. It looks like they're leaving. Maybe their shift is over and are heading out of town, or at least out of the port quarter. You flag them down?
Yeah.
All right. They seem a little bit out of breath. It's like, oh, it's been a long day. I'm heading home. What can I do for you? Be quick.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if recently you saw anybody likely robed running anywhere. I'm going to point kind of in the direction we were heading, possibly this way.
Running? No, I haven't seen anybody. You seen anybody? And he looks at his friend that's with him. No, we just came around the corner. We're going home. It's been a long, long morning. We're heading home to get some rest.
Okay, well, thank you for stopping anyway.
Aye. And they immediately start walking. They just wave you off and continue on their way.
Maybe we should go back in and investigate, like, their rooms more. Like, open the chest or something. I guess they wouldn't have left anything, though. I don't know.
I mean, we can check at least.
It hurt. We've lost the trail here, so...
Yeah. I think I'm gonna try. We can do it in the room too, but I just want to try to detect magic just to see if this goo has any magical residue.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it in the middle of the street here, so we can go back to the buildings.
Okay. You head back to the buildings. Are you going around the front or going into the windows in the back?
Probably the front. I don't know. I don't think we need to climb through the window.
Okay. So you head back through. You guys haven't been gone that long. Looks like nothing's changed, so no one's still in the rooms.
I want to check the chest in the rooms.
Okay.
I don't know if they're locked.
All right. You go to the, we'll say room 8, the first one that you guys have actually searched. The chest appears to be unlocked currently. As you go and open it, there's, again, a little bit of that sticky, kind of slimy goo. Not a lot, but a little bit. And you open it up, and it kind of gets on your fingers, and you open the chest. And inside, you see a lot more of these streams of slime kind of going back and forth. But you don't see the cause of this goo here currently.
Guys, this place is just gross.
I think they're going to lose their deposit.
Yeah.
Just maybe give a search of the room pretty good before we head out.
Okay, go ahead and give me one intelligence check.
Ooh.
Looking around, you see like a gleam of something underneath the bed and find a silver piece that looks like somebody dropped. Just a generic, mundane silver piece.
Better hold on to this to see if it helps.
All right, Pete, you said you wanted to do a detect magic?
Yeah, I'm going to see if this goo glows.
Okay. All right. Getting a sense of the goo, you don't get a sense of magic coming off of it. Kind of as you do this, it has a little bit of a, as you cast on it, you see it kind of glow just a little bit from your casting as your magic or your arcane, not arcane, yours is religious, as your deity kind of goes into it, and you see this kind of bright, warm glow on it, and then that light dims out, and you get a sense that there's no magic to it. It's not a magical goo of some sort. But you get a sense that it is unnatural.
Okay, I'll explain that to the group.
Quite weird. I think I'm gonna.
So you guys cut each other off. What was that?
Or just like, not a giant snake. Something else.
Oh, maybe. I wanna like kind of feel what it feels like between my fingers and maybe smell it a bit and maybe also taste it and see if I know anything about it or if it.
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen this creature.
As you take some up, like we'll say between like kind of like your three fingers, your thumb and two fingers, and you kind of move it back and forth, your fingers like slickly slide back and forth, but as you pull your fingers apart, it has a little bit of resistance, so it has some stickiness to it. So as you kind of move it back and forth between your fingers, it slides, but then when you pull away, it kind of has some sticky resistance. You smell it, and it doesn't really give off much smell at all. And as you kind of like taste it just a little bit, it has a very bitter taste to it.
But it's not something that I've ever seen before.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check really quick. See if you've come across anything similar. No, unfamiliar to you. You've seen a slime from, a generic kind of slugs, and this, that is, much less usually because they're very small, but you've never tasted or smelled the slug slimes before. You just know they kind of leave a kind of residue trail behind like this.
I see.
So I'd say you guys have thoroughly searched room 8 and haven't come across anything else.
Alright, let's roll over to room 6, I guess. Well, I'll go over there in a minute.
Okay. Go to room 6. The door is currently locked.
Alright, give me just a moment, everybody.
And a 15 again is plenty. You're able to unlock. It takes you one more try than it did last time. And you pop the lock and the door opens. Inside you see a similar layout, just kind of flipped the reverse. And again you see the slime trails going here and there, up the walls, across the floor, across the ceiling. Probably a dozen trails or so. Who's walking in the door first?
I would say probably me.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a reflex save.
Oh no.
Okay, that should be plenty. Give me just a second as I pop this out.
Oh, also, are we going to be playing with 4-player characters?
I'm joining. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Too late.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. I just overslept. I guess that is the perils of St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Right.
So,
No worries.
sorry
Welcome.
about that.
Let me throw you
I'm
back
just
up.
trying to join now.
Not a problem. We'll catch you up as you get in. All right. So with that, an 18 on the save. That should be plenty. So as you walk in the room, you just barely out of the corner of your eye notice something falling from the ceiling, and you dodge back out the room, and this strange leathery slug-like creature plops down to the floor and starts slowly crawling its way back towards the back of the room.
Oh my god, what is this? Is this what we are looking for?
It looks like it's probably the size of like a large rat, is how large this leathery slug-looking creature is.
Should
Maybe
we
this is-
capture it?
This is like a kids in a trench coat situation, maybe. They got like 4 slugs to be one person.
Oh, that could be, yes.
Yeah, let's capture it or something. I don't know. If we can't do that, then we kill it.
All right.
All right,
You gonna
yeah,
try
go.
to capture it?
Yeah, I'm gonna just try, I don't know, I guess picking it up with my
Okay.
hands.
You go
You
over
gotta-
to it. It's moving
back up.
fairly slow, and kind of you can hear the sounds, the kind of like squishy sound as it's kind of moving its way across. It's leaving slime behind. You grab it by like the end of it and kind of lift it up, and this sluggish looking creature, as you pick it up, kind of like folds itself to kind of look at you, and you can see like the front of it, its mouth start to open up, and the whole front of it kind of opens up into a wide mouth, and inside you can see a bunch of tiny like razor sharp teeth inside the opening of the mouth, and it's kind of like reaching towards you.
Oh my Jesus! And I just drop it immediately.
As you drop it, it begins again crawling towards the back wall.
Close the window.
All right, you run back and close the window.
Yeah.
And it starts moving in a different direction towards a different wall.
I mean, do you guys have an idea for how to capture it?
I got a large sack that I don't really carry anything in, but I have it stuffed in my backpack, so I'll pull that out and then we can try to shovel it in there.
All right. I'll say you don't have much trouble with that. Go ahead, and whoever has the sack and is trying to capture it, just give me a general attack.
Okay. Let's see here.
That actually isn't enough. So as you go to get it, and it seems like it moves faster for a moment, as you go to get it, and it just dodges out of the way as you go to capture it, and now it's starting to go up the wall.
Yeah, I'll tell the guys. I'll hold the bag open. Somebody else grab it, shove it in there, and then I'll close the bag.
I'll try to grab it.
Okay, give me another general attack. At this point, it again moves up the wall, so it's now up to the ceiling and is starting to crawl across the ceiling.
The slug, our nemesis.
Right?
Yes.
I'll get it, and try to use my dagger, but the side of it, not the sharp end, and just kind of scrape it off of the ceiling into the bag, maybe.
Okay.
Oh wait, is it?
You can just give me a general attack.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
With that, you go up to try to get it, and you trip. Give me a reflex save.
Yep.
10 just made it. Okay, so as you go, it's starting to go up the wall, so you try to climb up on top of the table and get to it, and the table kind of tips over and you fall, but you're able to catch yourself and land. As you land, it drops from the ceiling and attempts to grab you. A 15 versus your AC, which I think is enough. As it drops, you're catching your balance, and as you go to look back up, all of a sudden your head is engulfed in this thing. The rest of you see, as it drops from the ceiling, its mouth open wide and land on his head. So Martin now looks like he has a almost like a leather cap on his head, as this thing is slowly starting to worm its way down to encapsulate like his whole head. So with this, we are going to go ahead and be into initiative for the three of you. So I will put you guys into combat.
Never mind.
No, you're fine. I'll use your 21. Okay. I can go update that. All right. And for the creature, it's got a -1, so I will roll that. That is an 8, so it goes last. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and begin combat here. So, Martin, you now have your head. You can feel it coming down your head. It hasn't covered your eyes yet. It's down to about your forehead as this creature is starting to worm its way down to take over your entire head.
Oh god. Okay. I'm gonna try cutting it, I guess, with my dagger.
Okay.
As best as I can without cutting my own head. Oh, not good.
You go to attack it, and in your panic, you just like completely miss. Hundo, I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the combat as well. Go ahead and roll me an initiative. We'll say you asked about, you were a little bit late today, you asked about your friends and are looking to catch up with them.
Yeah, I like run in the door and
We'll see how long it takes you to run in the door.
Like a Kool-Aid man just through the wall.
Give me an initiative, not an attack.
Sorry.
No worries.
Just find a D20 here. There we go.
All right, and being a warrior, you get +2 to that, so your initiative is 17. All right, so that puts you just behind that, so we will go ahead and update 17. All right, so you're not going to get a turn this turn, but I think the next turn is when you'll come into it. All right, so with that, Martin, you go to attack the creature as it's on your head. In a little bit of a panic, you swing wildly and miss. Pete, you're up. You see this leathery slug creature consuming Martin's head. Or engulfing, not consuming.
Is it currently like can you still see? Is it like kind of on his forehead right now?
Yeah, it hasn't gone down over his eyes yet, but it's basically ears and up is just starting to be engulfed in this creature.
Okay, I'm gonna say, Gert, stand real still, and then I'm gonna swing my staff at it.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my magic staff.
A 19 will hit. You smack this thing. Martin will take 1 point of damage from the blunt, and the creature will take the 2 points of damage. All right. With that, we are down to Hundo. You'll be on the next round, not this one. You hear some commotion, Hundo, and you see the open doors. You see, as you just barely catch what looks like your allies, Levi and Pete, go charging into this room, and you are trying to catch up. All right, Levi.
Okay, I'm gonna try to grab the leech and pull it off his head.
Okay.
Oh god.
I don't know what I need to roll for that.
Just give me a. We'll call that an agility to try to grab it and pull it off. Ooh, that's a 10. I'm gonna say is not quite enough on this one. You go to grab, and as the creature's squirming to get on his head, Martin's kind of flailing around a little bit. I'm basically going to go against kind of the average of their 2 ACs. So just going to miss there as you try to grab this thing off of his head unsuccessfully.
Fortunately, my luck's already pretty low. So.
All right. At this point, the creature has squirmed its way down a little bit further. It's down to about his nose now. So, Martin, you can no longer see. Your eyes go into darkness as you're inside this creature's mouth. But it is your turn.
Fantastic. I don't really have any other options, I guess. I'll try that again.
Okay.
Oh my god.
In your panic, your blade is just going wildly, and I think you're also trying not to stab yourself, so you're going a little bit too soft, and you can feel like your blade kind of should cut across it, but maybe at the wrong angle, so it kind of skips off of it. It's got a fairly leathery hide to it, and yeah, you're just not quite able in your panic to focus enough to hit this creature. All right, Pete.
Okay. Since I would have heard him like yell "ow" or something when I swacked the thing last time.
Yeah, but Martin, you can call do it again, like, because you can tell, like, he's like, ah, kind of like just not like a lot of pain, but you can tell like a little bit of pain. You can tell that he didn't take a lot of pain from that hit.
All right, I will swing again.
Oof, an 8 this time. You go to swing and kind of pull out from it a little bit, not wanting to hit your friend too hard, and actually miss this time as, again, Martin kind of flails around trying to get this thing off of his head. All right, Unda.
How big is this slug?
So as you go in, it looks like it was probably about the size of a rat, but as it landed on his head, it's kind of like stretched and is starting to engulf almost his entire head at this point.
All right. I grab Martin's hand and I put my ion stone in his hand and I tell him, say Pluto.
What? Okay. Pluto.
As you say that, the gem starts floating around your head.
Is it hurting the slug?
It does not seem to be.
All right. I've got another idea. Should I implement it or make another turn?
Next turn. Yeah, that'll be your action to give him that, tell him to say that, and I'll give him the free action to say it, and so it's now floating around his head. All right, Levi.
I guess I'll try to pull the thing off again.
Okay. You can do either a athletics or sorry, not athletics. You can do either an agility or a strength check, either one.
Okay. There we go.
There you go. So with a natural 20, we'll say you have no problem this time. You basically grab Martin by the scruff of his collar to hold him still. Grab the thing by the what's left of its tail kind of off the top, and in one firm grasp, yank this thing off. When that happens, you hear a bit of a cry of pain from Martin as the teeth have just started to kind of dig into his head. So as you pull it off, you see a bunch of tiny little red cuts along his forehead and like his ears and things as you rip this thing off. Levi takes 1 point of damage, or sorry, not Levi. Martin takes 1 point of damage from that as you rip it off, and you now have this thing in your hand, and it too is starting to. You see the mouth close up a bunch, but it starts to turn towards you, Levi, and is kind of like trying to reach for your face.
Put it in the sack.
Put it in the sack.
All right. I'll say that will be the end of combat. You guys are able to do that since you have it in your hand. You open up the sack and throw it into the sack and close the sack. So from that, everyone can gain 1 experience point. And you can tell like the sack now is kind of moving around a little bit as the small creature is struggling to get out.
All right. Well, I retrieved my ion stone. I'm sorry that didn't.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad you helped. Who are you, by the way?
I'm Hunda Redhand.
Nice to meet you. My name is Kurt. I've just recently joined this group.
Nice to meet you. Hey, Levi.
Hello. Well met again, sir.
Hey, Pete. How are you doing, Pete?
Good. Glad you showed up. This I don't know what we're dealing with here, but it's apparently slugs.
Slugs. And we're in town. We're in Ravenswood.
Yep. Yeah, you guys are over in the port quarter. This area is basically the motel rooms, kind of like day camp areas for traveling merchants who are bringing in lumber or bringing in iron or just day laborers for the warehouses and refineries that are down this way. They'll catch you up, let you know that they're basically looking for two iron. They're the iron caravan drivers, Sildar and Magnus. That these rooms are apparently the rooms that they're staying in. And as you look around, you can see too these like strange slime trails leading up the walls, the floor, the ceiling, kind of going crisscrossing back and forth, and out the window in the back.
2 trails, and we're missing 2 guys.
Multiple trails. You can't tell how many there are. It could be one creature that just moved around a lot. Could be multiple creatures. You're not positive. Yeah, there's no real distinct way to tell how many.
All right, and we have any? What's the reason we're looking for these guys?
So you know that from people in town talking, just overhearing other people that there hasn't been any deliveries of iron from Ironend, the mines in the eastern mountains, for several months, and the eastern search party still hasn't returned. But a couple days ago, the Sildar and Magnus, usually the normal caravan drivers of iron, arrived in town with a delivery. They went and delivered the iron. The people who interacted with them know them well. They've been the caravan drivers for quite a few years, and they're usually quite jovial and friendly. But this time when they came in, they were quite rude and short, and kept their hoods up like to hide their faces and such the entire time they were making their deliveries. They basically came over here and were renting these 2 rooms out, 6 and 8, which are right next to each other.
Okay. And we've been through both rooms?
Yep, and both rooms look the same, except for this one had the slug creature in it.
Is there the cart that they used, is that nearby?
As you came in, noticed that there were several empty carts kind of parked. There's an area for merchants to park their carts in the front, and there are horse stables with several horses and stuff in them as well. Just coming in, don't know which cart would have been theirs, but...
Yeah. And there's no, they don't have any other business represented in town. Like they don't have a storefront that runs the iron traders or a union or something like that.
You can ask the party if they've seen anything else as you're catching up.
Yeah. How about I'm asking the party. And the party is silent. Okay.
All right, party. So you tell them what you guys did so far. So you basically tell Hundo that you went to the iron forge where they smelt the iron and spoke with basically one of the managers there, and he told you that basically what I told you. They arrived. It'd been several months, which was quite strange. Usually they deliver like monthly, and that they were very rude. He's known them for 15 years, and they were very rude, which is very uncharacteristic for them. And they kept their hoods up the whole time. They were very short, and when they left, they just left abruptly, didn't thank him or anything like that, and headed off towards the day camp.
Well, are there any? Let's search the room for any letters or anything that might give us a clue of what's going on here. Any personal items that either of these guys left in these rooms?
Okay, so the other room's already been searched, so you can go ahead and do an intelligence check to search this room. There is a bed, a couple tables. One of the tables in the back has like a large bowl on it with some water, kind of like a wash basin, and then there is one chest in the room as well.
I forget what my intelligence is.
Intelligence is -1.
Ooh.
Looking around, you're too distracted by the slimes and the squirming sack that one of your allies is currently holding, and don't seem to notice anything that stands out to you.
And what's the play with the squirming sack?
Well, here's the thing. Either these guys turned into these leeches or these leeches did something to them. This is their rooms, and the leech was in the room. So the trail that we saw coming into the window was either coming or going in the other room. So I'm not sure. That's the information.
Alright. If you follow the trails out the window, is there can we see anything else?
We tried that. We lost the trail. Due to my poor roll. Honestly.
Due to traffic, it's a high traffic road behind, so that's really what happened.
Right.
Alright. Anyone with a higher intelligence want to try to look for some intelligence here? I just tripped over the bed.
I'll let you guys do one more check. Whoever wants to do it. It seems like these guys didn't bring much with them, or if they did, they took it with them when they left. I will say, though, like, the beds don't even look slept in. So either room service came in and made the beds, which you don't think so because there's slime everywhere, or they never even slept in the beds.
Shall we take the slugs to a... No, there's not a lot of local magi, but I don't know. Maybe a priest or... I'm thinking if they are transformed into the slugs, maybe there's a way of reversing it or knowing it for sure. Or if they contain the contents of these guys. It doesn't seem like...
Yeah, maybe some kind of scholar. Is there like a library or something?
Yeah, you know that there is a library. I think a couple of you have gone there looking for things before. I think Hundo, you've taken something there. A couple of you guys have taken stuff to a local scholar. There is a school in town, and then a library and those kind of things. And of course, there's several different temples to several different deities where there's priests and monks and things of that nature. You know that there's hunters in town who are constantly out, bringing in meat and things like that. Butchers, those kind of, animal handlers in different ways.
For butchering a slug, huh? Well, I don't know. I guess maybe we take it to the library and say, if we think this guy's been converted into a slug, how would we know? How would we be able to tell?
Yeah, that's where I would suggest we start off, just because I don't think this would be food, because when I detect magic on the ooze here and the slime, it wasn't magic, but it was very unnatural. So I don't think this would be a typical food item.
Well, hopefully the sack holds until then. They had some pretty sharp teeth.
Yeah. Any better way of subduing this thing? I'm not sure that I do have.
Is that chest in the room removable?
It looks like it would be removed. It matches the one in the other room. So you assume that these are the chests that are in each of these hotel rooms. It's kind of like the day camp's like lockbox for when they order or when they rent a room.
Because if it's removable, I'll throw the slug bag into the chest, and then we can just carry the chest.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that.
Have you guys talked to the neighboring rooms? Was there a struggle overnight or something?
Nothing we knew of. We asked if we'd seen anyone coming in our alley, I guess, but that's not the same.
Yeah, you asked a couple workers that were leaving the port quarter, leaving from one of the warehouses or something like that.
Right.
All right. Well, let's try to find someone smarter than we are. We're a pretty dumb party, and try to find if these guys disappeared, we found these slugs. If these guys have been turned into slugs by evil magic, is their way of detecting that. These guys have been eaten by slugs, is their way of detecting that.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to like to go for the head, so maybe they somehow eat brains or something. Who knows?
Or there's some kind of doppelganger conversion thing. I guess we could. What? We found a small dog or something to experiment with. See if he eats it and turns it into a dog.
There was a lady that was missing a dog, so
Yeah.
that this thing could have ate it.
That's the whole question, is like, does it just devour them whole, or is it like somehow become them or something? I don't know. Are these guys dead now? Pretty much. Question.
Yeah, let's head to the library first.
Or did they turn into these things? It's like some kind of corruption, like magical corruption or something.
Yeah.
All right, so we're heading to the library.
Just on the way there, though, since we're stealing a chest, I would just pay that old lady for whatever it's worth.
Right.
Oh, you want to take my chest? That's an odd ask, but let's see. And she kind of looks through her records. She's like, "They cost me. It's going to be," and actually, I think they actually have in the equipment a chest, empty chest. She's like, "That'll be 4 gold pieces."
Alrighty, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's the chest is yours. So this chest is probably, maybe 3 feet. No, not even 3 feet. Like 2 feet wide, about a foot in depth, and a foot in height.
And before we leave, I'll let her know that the rooms are currently open because we entered them, but that she should send cleaners there.
She seems
I'm not gonna say much more.
When you say that they're open, she seems a little bit more concerned that they went to your rooms. Why'd you open them? And as you say, you said send cleaners. Why? What did you see?
It's best for you not to know. You're not gonna get your deposit back, and then we'll head out.
And you see a little bit of like panic on her face as she's like, "Oh, thank you." And she runs in like the door in the back, and you can hear her talking to somebody in the back.
We didn't do it. Let's make that clear.
You've heard of bed. You've got bed slugs.
Yeah.
I don't get that checked out.
All right, so you guys got your chest. You head back out and start heading towards the library.
Yeah.
A can't remember which one of you went. I think you guys found like a ring with a sigil on it and a couple other things that you gone and had investigated. So you guys head back there and recognize the library or librarian that is currently there. This building's fairly large. It's got probably, I would say, looking around, not counting, probably has a good 200 or so books. Several, one bookshelf is just covered in scrolls and other things as well. So a decent amount of reading material. The way it's set up is the outside like walls, or the walls of on the inside are covered in bookshelves and things like that. Then there's like maybe 4 or 5 smaller like shoulder height bookshelves within the building, and in the very center is a desk area that's kind of circular, and sitting in the middle of it is the librarian, who is currently looks like she's has a scroll open and is reading through it.
Go talk to her about this thing.
As you approach, she looks up from what she's reading and kind of like puts down. She has like a stick that she was using to like kind of follow along. She puts the stick down, kind of like signifying where she had left off as she looks up. Ah, yes, can I help you?
Yes. What do you know about giant leeches?
Giant leeches? Don't have a lot of familiarity with them. I've heard of them. They're, as far as I know, fairly common down in the Mossy Mire to the south.
Pete, want to show her what we got?
Okay, I'll set the chest down. Somebody ready a weapon just in case this thing gets out. But I'll slowly creak it open and then look inside see if it's still in the bag.
It does seem to be in the bag. I'd say probably when you put it in there, you secured it. Like this sack would have like rope on the top of it, so you would have secured it. It looks like it's still inside. Yep. And you can see it kind of slowly kind of moving back and forth. Like the thing's not fighting very hard to get out anymore. I think it's realized that it can't get out, so it's kind of gone still.
I will pull the bag out. I'm not going to open the bag yet, but I'll say in here we have something that we need to identify. It is slug and or leech-like.
And she seems a little bit nervous. She's like, usually I keep my research to what's written, not what's physically in front of me.
Well, perhaps there's some information written here that'll help us.
Yeah, and she, again, still looking kind of uneasy at the bag, which is slowly squirming around a little bit. She's like, yes, I think I've got a couple books on the Mossy Mire. Let me go get them. And she kind of heads off towards one corner of the room, and she's looking through a few things, climbs up a ladder there and gets to like one of the upper shelves and is looking through some of the books, and takes her a moment or two, and she grabs one, and then she looks and grabs a second one and brings them over and puts them down on the desk and says, "You're asking about leeches," and she's flipping through one of them. Like, no, this isn't the one, and she sets it off to the side and starts flipping through the other one. She's like, yes, here, and she kind of spins it around, and you can see a sketch of a leech kind of creature, a giant leech. The one that's kind of depicted is looks like it's much more smoother than what this creature is, depicting that it has a very, very smooth kind of skin to it, and it looks like it's in water, like swimming almost. And it's depicted next to like a person for scale, and it's like the same size as the person. Like it's massive, so much bigger than what you currently have. And the creature you have too is more of a brown leathery creature, so it has like the wrinkle lines to it, so it definitely looks a bit different.
Eliminates that, I guess.
Does she have anything that fits the description or in our other books? It's leathery, I'll try to describe it, brown, about the size of a small dog or a cat.
And she's kind of see her kind of like thinking to herself, kind of rubbing her chin. Um. Hmm. Not that comes to mind.
Have you ever heard of shape changers who come in the form of a slug?
Well, something in the shape changers. I've heard of. Back before the gauntlet came, there were stories of shape changers who could take on the shape of another person and impersonate them. Um, I've heard of, of course, the stories of werewolves and vampires changing into different creatures of nature. Um, and of course, the wizards turning people into toads and things of that nature. But those are all old stories. I haven't heard of anything recently.
We got a were slug.
Well, that would be a new one.
All right.
As you guys are looking at the description of the giant leech too, it's kind of given descriptions, and it tells you, in the description, black oily skin, ranging from tiny, like cat sized, all the way up to man sized giant leeches. Describes them as living in the deeper portions of the mossy mire, but can come up to the shorter portions to seek food. That they live off of blood. They will drain a creature of blood. Depending on how large it is, can drain it very quickly. But they are written and described as literal leeches that are just massive and live in the swamps to the south. But having a very black, oily kind of texture.
Seem exactly like what we got, but similar.
Does the librarian have any suggestions for anybody else that she thinks in Ravenswood might have any clue what this thing is?
Well, I could tell you the best bet you got. Let me think. Possibly over in the old district. I know the Singing Lantern Tavern is run by Dalmar. He used to be an adventurer. He has some exotic taxidermy posted up around his tavern there. He could possibly be a lead for you.
Well, I guess that's where we'll head next then. We appreciate your help, kind librarian.
No problem. If you care to make a donation to the library for the information you've provided today, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll give her a couple of gold pieces.
Well, thank you. Very generous. Very generous. She takes it and she goes over to, she's inside her desk area, and she goes over to one side, and there's a lockbox, and she has like a slot on the top of it, and she drops it inside the slot. And you can hear it clang, clang. It looks like when it hits and it makes a sound, it doesn't sound like there's much else in that box.
Single-handedly keeping the place alive.
Yep.
Not a lot of readers up here. All right, well, let's go see that guy then.
All right, so heading off to see Dalmar. So you guys head over to the Singing Lantern Tavern. You guys are familiar with this place. It is in the old district, so the central district there with the large temple to Guran. This one too, kind of. It is located 1D is the location on the map of the Singing Lantern. You've probably all been there at least at one time or so. So you recognize it. You've seen inside that there's like the head of an owl bearer, heads of other several very, very strange creatures, large wolves that are larger than anything you've ever seen before. There's the head of what looks like a deer, but its mouth is open much larger and has all these razor sharp teeth. It's very creepy looking. So all sorts of just exotic taxidermy up on the walls and things like that. As you walk in, you're getting later into the afternoon, possibly even towards the evening at this point. So this tavern is also starting to get quite busy. As you walk in, you see a man behind the counter. Looks, fairly large, like very strong, large muscles. He's got a fairly good-sized, shaped beard. He's got his overalls on and is quite busily behind the tavern, filling ales, just like the last tavern you were in.
All right, well, I buy a round of pints for everybody.
All right, you guys can find a table. You're probably right at the beginning of the dinner rush, so there are still a few empty tables, so you guys are able to find a table. You order from Dalmar at the bar, or do you flag down one of the barmaids that is walking around serving patrons?
Well, we want to talk to Dalmar, right? So I think let's do Dalmar.
Okay.
Although I think I'm a little fuzzy on what we're asking him.
Oh, welcome. You've got in just before the rush. What can I get for you?
A round of stouts for everybody here, and and then we wanted to ask some questions about. We've captured this slug over in the northeast part of town, and under sort of suspicious circumstances, two teamsters that we were looking for have disappeared, and we found two slugs sitting in their place. And we were wondering if it's possible that these slugs have eaten them, or they've transformed into slugs, or something like that.
All right, for your first question, a round of ale. How many are you?
We're 4, right?
4? All right, that'll be 2 silver apiece. That's 8 silver.
All right, 8 silver.
And he goes to pour in the 4 of those. And you're asking about slug creatures as he's filling these things up. He's looking at you. Slug creatures, you say? That would be an odd one. What did they look like?
Well, black and slimy. I guess I used the description we heard in the library there.
The ones in the library are black and like oily. The one you have is like brown and leathery.
Oh, okay.
So you describe the creature to it. You've seen it, so you describe it to him, and he says, "Well," and he puts the first ale down, starts filling the second one. Thinking back, we'll come across something like that. And he finishes filling the second one, sets it down, starts filling the third one. Well, I've come across some strange slug-like creatures down in the Underdark and the caves and such. Fills the third one and starts filling the fourth one. But turning creatures and turning a person into a slug, that would be a new one. I've seen a wizard or two transform something into something else. A slug would be quite unfortunate. He finished filling that and sets it down, and he kind of comes over and starts cleaning another mug while he's talking to you. Without seeing it, I probably couldn't be able to identify it or tell you if I've seen it before.
Oh, well, we could show it to you. I'm not sure you want me to pull a slug out right in the middle of your establishment.
Oh, definitely not inside me tavern.
Yeah. If you've got a side room, or maybe you could step outside for a second, I'd be happy to show it to you.
All right. Go ahead and just give me a quick, we'll say, personality check.
Personality 7.
Very good. Well, he looks around. It seems like all the patrons currently have stuff, and so he flags down one of his barmaids. Will you watch the tavern for me? I'll be right back. All right, show me what you got. And he'll follow you out. He says, come, bring it this way. And he leads you out the back door towards an alley in the back.
All right. And are we all going, or is it just me?
Oh, just in case it gets out.
Yeah.
Can I bring my beer?
Absolutely. All right. So you guys head out the into the alley behind the building, and he's there and he's kind of has his towel and he's cleaning his hands and such, and he sets it down, puts his hands on his hips, and he's like, "All right, show me what you got. It's been a while since I've been involved in strange creatures. A little exciting, takes me back."
All right, well, let's pull the bag out of the chest and then
A different
Well,
stack ready, I guess.
warn him that it likes to go for the face, and then we can open it so you can look at it.
As you say that, he goes from leaning forward to leaning back a little bit. And so you open the chest and pick up the bag. Again, the bag's not moving when you open the chest, but as soon as you pick up the bag, it starts squirming a little bit. And you can tell he kind of like half steps back to prepare himself to react if something jumps out of the bag. You just untie and open the bag and hold it there open, or
Does anybody have like a candle or something that we can just
I've got.
hold over it so we can shine some light in the bag?
I was also thinking of taking a grappling hook and just hooking it like a worm, so that it had less mobility. It probably would.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've got torches and flint and steel, so I could make a little light for you.
okay. So you light a torch. It's you're in the middle of an alley where there's multiple, or in the kind of the back alley. So there's multiple buildings here blocking what little light there is, since it's starting to become just as the sun is setting. So it has that kind of no direct sunlight, but the sky is still a little bit bright. So it is fairly dim where you're at. So you light the torch and hold the sack open. Are you trying to, with the grappling hook, are you trying to literally like hook it like a worm on a hook, or are you just trying to like hold it in the hook?
No, I was thinking of just trying to hook it like a worm so that it had less chance to escape.
Okay. I'm not going to make you attack for that because it's in a bag. It can't really move around, so your grappling hook will go through it. Go ahead and roll me a d4. 1 point. Okay, so it takes 1 point of damage, and you're able to hook it in like the tail. So somewhere that's not super vital for it. You assume there's no organs that won't kill it by hooking it in the tail. And so you do feel that it hook on your grappling hook, and you're able to pull it out, and it hangs there from the tail. You can see kind of a strange, almost purplish kind of blood oozing out of the wound that you just stuck it with. And the creature is now kind of, again, arcing itself, kind of turning its body so that its mouth is moving towards you as it's trying to reach for your face.
Okay.
A new weapon.
He steps back and goes, "Oh, that's a bit ugly, isn't it?" And he kind of leans in a little bit. He's like, "You got a good grip on that, do you?"
I think so.
All right. And he kind of leans in. He pulls out, like he has a small dagger himself. He pulls it out and kind of prods at the mouth a little bit to kind of turn it towards him so he can see inside of its mouth. And the mouth itself kind of almost grabs down on the blade, but as it feels like it's a blade, it opens back up and tries to pull away. And as it opens back up, he's like, "Whoa, that's quite a smile this thing's got." And you can see inside, the rows of like really tiny, but like razor sharp looking teeth. And it's almost like multiple rows stacked on top of each other. And looking inside the mouth, he's like, "Oh, that's it looks like it could be a giant leech of some sort, but I've never seen one this texture and color. I've been attacked by a giant leech. They're no joke. They'll, basically grab down and consume your entire arm and start draining your blood, or, it's bad business. I've seen 1 or 2 people go down to those things. This is, looks like it would be like an infant one, but they're usually a different texture and color. This creature here, can't say I recognize it. It's not one I've seen before."
Should put Kurt in the light there and be like, "What?" You point to his face and say, "That's what it did to him."
Yeah, and you look over at Kurt, and he leans forward and kind of pulls his hair back a little bit, and you can see, just tons of tiny little scratches on his head, almost like a cat just went to town on his forehead and his ears. All these tiny little scratches, which have already started to heal up a little bit. The blood's caught, what is that? Congealed or closed up for him. So all these little red marks across his head and his ears. Well, it looks like it didn't get you too bad.
Yeah, but no relationship between leeches and shape changers that you know of.
Not that I'm aware of. No. I've seen a wizard turn someone into a toad, into a chicken. I had one in my party years ago. He cast a spell and it misfired and turned our allies' legs into chicken legs. It was hilarious. Took him a while to undo that one, but leech? No, never before.
Yeah, don't tell that story in front of Levi.
Yeah.
His face is turning into a bird beak.
Yeah, Levi's kind of talking and kind of like holding his hand over his mouth as he's talking.
Well, and do you think a leech of this size could have eaten a man whole?
Oh no, leeches generally don't eat the body itself. They'll bite down and drain the blood from a creature, but leave the body behind.
Yeah.
And a creature this size, at most, leeches generally are very elastic, so they can stretch quite a bit. But to consume a whole man this size, no, I don't see that being possible.
Well, our mission is to discover why the Teamsters came late and grumpy and now seem to have been disappeared. Whatever, these leeches are strange and are clearly some kind of clue, but I don't think they are actually explain the disappearance.
Yeah, sure. Where'd you find this creature?
Workers.
You guys know the name of it? The name of the.
To tell them the name, I forgot what it was.
It doesn't really have a name. It's just like the day laborers camp. So you tell them,
In the quarter, the bungalows of a workman's camp.
well, now, that is a very strange place to find a creature like this. I wouldn't expect to find a creature like this anywhere but down in some caves. As you see here, it's got no eyes, which tells me that it dwells in the dark places. Who were you looking for when you found this creature?
We were looking for 2 men.
2 men?
Yeah.
Where are these men from?
They're the iron delivery guys. Are we telling their names? I forgot to.
They come from the Ironend, from the mountains. Well, if this creature came with them, I'm not sure why they would bring it. But, that makes sense. The mines, dark places, there's quite a good chance that's where this creature came from.
Maybe it attached to them. They didn't know. Carried it with them for a while, and then it got bigger or something.
That's a good chance. Good.
Something strange going on in the mines.
Yeah, and where are these guys now?
We didn't find any bodies or anything. So.
At this point, you hear someone calling from inside, Dalmar! Oh, sounds like they need me back inside. So, you have any other questions for me? I'll be at the bar. And he wipes his hands and heads back inside.
Okay.
So do we wait down at their rooms and see if those guys show back up at all?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess we don't know that they're dead or missing. I guess we could feed the slug to a chicken or something and see if there's any information there. But somehow I feel like the slugs are a bit of a dead end there. Yeah, well, let's. I think it's a good idea. Let's return to their rooms and see if anybody else shows up or looking for them, or if they show up looking for, return. Keep an eye on the place.
All right, let's put the thing back in the bag and back in the chest then. Eh?
I guess so. I don't know how long we're going to carry that thing around, but
Yeah, I mean the alternative is we kill it right now and then just take its corpse somewhere if we need to examine it more.
open up and stuff if there's anything.
All right, you open up the bag and put it back in the bag, and you leave the hook in it, or do you pull the hook out?
I think I'm going to put the hook and 50 feet of rope. Leave the hook in it and let the 50 feet of rope come out of the bag, but in the chest. Okay. So if it runs, we've got a line on it.
That makes sense, Bert. Okay, so you put it back in the chest, close the chest. You gonna go and finish enjoy your ales before you head off?
Yeah, we gotta have 3 or 4 just to get our brains straight.
It is dinner time, so you guys can order a meal as well if you want while you're here. So the meal itself will be a gold piece. No, it'd be probably 2 silver pieces each. It's going to be basically, it looks like a bowl of some kind of stew with a piece of bread, and then your ale that you already have.
I'll do the trick.
Okay. It's warm. It's delicious. You enjoy it. So at this point, the sun is fully set. The night has gone dark. You can see, the lanterns glowing in the street. It seems like the lantern lighters have already been through and lit all the lanterns. So it is, nighttime, but lit enough in town. You heading back over to the day camp?
Yes.
All right. Head back over. You can see a bit more commotion going on currently as laborers are getting back from the warehouses and such like that, getting in and getting rest. You see the horse stables are quite busy as the people are checking on their horses and things like that. You overhear a couple of them saying like, "Oh, I'll need them ready quite first thing in the morning. I'll be taking off," and a few different people talking about different things. But a little bit more commotion. As you look at rooms 6 and 8, before walking up to them, the doors do look like they are closed. But that is it. I'll have everyone go ahead and give me intelligence checks to kind of see what else you see as you approach. All right. Hundo, Levi, you guys don't see much. Pete and Martin, looking around, you notice off to one corner, it looks like there is like one hooded figure kind of leaning against a wall, and you see a little bit of light kind of glow for a moment, almost like he's lighting a pipe.
What you talking about, man? I mean, I didn't notice it yet, but
So there's a guy lighting a pipe. Let's ask him something. All right.
All right, you guys head over to him. As you approach, he looks like he, takes a puff, and as he does, it kind of lights up a little bit. You kind of just see like the gruffness of his eyes. Looks like a weary old man, bit of a beard as he's smoking.
Let's ask him questions about those 2 guys.
as you guys approach, he kind of looks in your direction and then kind of just like looks down and keeps smoking. Doesn't seem like he's interested in interacting with you by himself, anyways. You guys go up and ask him a question.
Kind, mysterious sir. Have you seen travelers in and out these two doors? I point to 6 and 8.
You see him kind of take the pipe in his hand and look over that direction. What's it worth you?
About 5 gold pieces.
5 gold pieces. Let me see it.
And I pick out 5 gold. I'm good for that.
He takes it from you and he looks over. Those 2 doors there? I saw...
Well, just surroundings. We're looking for 2 teamsters that have been acting strange and now have disappeared.
And Ken takes a couple more puffs from his pipe. Yeah, the only thing I've seen in and out of that door were a couple of the servant women. Seem to be cleaning the rooms of some sort. But, nothing outside the ordinary.
Do you know anything about giant leeches?
Giant leeches? No, nothing of giant leeches.
No?
Let's ask him. Are you gonna be sticking around here for the night, or you got somewhere to be?
Takes a couple more puffs. That's a bit of a strange and personal question, eh?
Well, the only reason I ask is my fellow here. He paid you quite good. That's a couple days' work at least, right? So, I don't think it'd be out of the ordinary to maybe ask you to keep an eye on this place for us, would it?
Supposing I can do that for ye.
All right. Should we ask the innkeeper again? Or peek in the rooms again? I'm not sure.
Let's ask the innkeeper.
And he takes a couple more puffs. And I'll be here till the morning. I'm staying in room 14. I'll keep an eye out what I can. If you come in the morning and I'm still here, I'll let you know what I see.
That's great. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
He takes a couple more puffs and just goes back to doing what he's doing.
Around looking mysterious.
All right. The doors to 6 and 8 are closed again, right?
Yes.
And if I walk up and just do like a quick rap knock and open the door a peek.
Knock on the door, no response. Yeah. And the door seems to be locked again.
Okay. Try it on the next door. They're both locked?
Yep. Both. You get no response from knocking, and they both appear to be locked.
All right. If we go back to the lady who runs the rooms.
All right, you go back in. You open the door to the office. The ding ding from the door making some noise. This time she's actually sitting behind the desk. She's not, in the back room. She's like, "Oh, you're back. Well, I need to speak with you. Did you guys make that mess in there?"
Oh, man.
No, man. We merely discovered it, but we're worried about the people who did. There were.
So you're telling me Magnus and Sildar made that mess?
Well, I believe so. If they were in those rooms, only they could really explain how those slugs got in there, those leeches. But yeah, we're still looking for them to find out. Have you seen them since?
Oh, I've not seen them return, but I tell you, they may not be allowed to stay here again. That took all day for my servants to get that clean.
Yeah. Well, they may be suffering from a worse fate than that. They don't. They seem to have kind of disappeared on us. So definitely, we want to know if they return to their rooms here.
Well, you're welcome to sit and wait.
We can't do till morning anyway, I think. I guess we
Well,
think
what do you think? You want to just wait around here, or any other leads or thoughts?
I was just thinking maybe we could go to a church or something and see if there's any kind of scriptures or anything that speak of these unnatural things.
All right, yeah, Pete, you know of the Temple of Dianthar up in District 5, the North District. You know there's also a temple to Shul up in that area as well. You know to the south, down in Cattle Song, there is a temple to Shul down that way as well. That one's more of a nature kind of just an outdoor kind of area for prayer and such. And of course, there's the main temple in the center of town in the old district to Guran.
Yeah, definitely want to hit up one of the lawful churches or temples. I mean, Dainthar is my peeps, so that would be my suggestion, but Guran would be fine too, just due to the size.
Why don't you guys go, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on the doors here, hunker down, and just be real quiet. Keep an eye on.
Yeah, sure. We can come back if we find anything. I think I'm also gonna see if I can leave the chest at the church too, and tell them to not open it, keep it, lock it if they can, and just keep an eye on it until we can come back and retrieve it. But yeah, or if you're gonna watch the back, because the slugs go in and out of the windows, and if our smoking fellow is gonna watch the front, then you guys got both entrances and exits covered.
Okay, good thinking.
Cool.
All right, so I know you go around back, and you can position yourself in like a dark alley across the street from where those two back windows are. They point out which ones are which because they've been in and out of both sides, so you know which windows to watch. The windows currently look closed. You know when you left they were open. So they look closed. You're able to position yourself in a dark alley, feeling like you're fairly well hidden. Down in the port quarter at night, there's not a lot of lanterns lit down in this area because there's not a lot of foot traffic at night. Probably another reason why the tavern down here is frequented by the more shady folk. So you position yourself and feel like you've got yourself a good spot for the night. There's even like a little crate that you can like sit on, so you got yourself a seat for the night.
Yes.
All right, the other three of you all heading to one of the temples?
Sure.
All right, which temple would you like to head towards?
I'll let Pete. This is his domain.
Yeah, let's go to Dainthar first.
Okay.
Try my
So
best.
that'll be quite a walk. It'll probably take you, a good hour almost, because you're going from down here in District 3. You've got to go south along the river until you find the first bridge, cross over into the old district, make your way past the Temple to Guran, into the Cat Bowl up north, following it all the way up to District 5, and then finding your way over to the Temple to Dianthar. So Dianthar is this is 5A, so that's over in this area here. So you make your way over there. It takes you about an hour or so of walking through town, especially if you're lugging along this chest. And as you make it over there, all seems quiet. The temple, there's light inside, flickering, so you can tell that there is light and at least some movement inside. Pete, I assume you're leading the way?
Yeah, I'll enter.
All right. So this is an area that you have frequented quite a few times. You know that your trainer is here as well. So I think for you, I didn't have a specific name listed for your trainer. I think it was basically just the different priests that are in here. So you go up to one of the priests you know. Welcome back, Brother Pete. How does
Yes,
Dianthar find you today?
Excellent and in good graces.
Great to hear, great to hear. Are you here for
May
prayer?
Perhaps another time. I have a request of the church, if possible.
Yes. Anything for one of the flock.
So in the port district, we discovered some unnatural creature. It is in the form of a slug or a leech of some kind. I'm going to try to use my hands to describe how big it is. It's about this big, brown, leathery, leaves a trail of slime or ooze, and is very ravenous. It attempted to swallow a compatriot's head. We haven't killed it. We've captured it, and it's in a chest just outside. And we're looking to seek information on it if the church knows what it is or like where it might come from. It's very. I've beseeched Dainthar about its ooze, and he spoke back to me that it's unnatural. So I'm seeking further information from the church.
Oh, that sounds quite disturbing. Quite disturbing indeed. Well, let me go ask a couple of the others and see if they've heard anything of like this or come across anything of this nature. And I'll give me a moment and I'll be back. And he walks to the back where the altar is, and to the right you can see like a doorway that leads back to some other rooms. Back there is where the priests have their quarters for their study or whatever else they're doing. So they go back there, and he's gone for several minutes. And he ends up coming back out. And while you're doing this, Martin, Levi, are you inside the temple as well, or did you guys wait outside?
I was gonna wait outside.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so you guys have the chest outside, I'm assuming, as well?
Mm-hmm. Keeping a close eye on it.
All right. So then so the one you were speaking with and another priest come out. This is the one you were saying that came across a strange creature. And he's like, yes, this is the one. Whoa, what do you have?
Well, let's go outside and take a look. Could you bring a lantern or a torch or something?
Yes, not a problem. And as you guys are walking out, he grabs one of the lanterns that's hanging near the front entrance and brings it with him. And you guys head outside. All right. You say you have the creature trapped?
Yeah, I'm pointing to the chest. It's in there inside a bag with a grappling hook pinning its tail, so I can pull it out, and it'll. It should be. You can get a close look if you really wish to. So I can go ahead and pull that out for him if they want.
All right. Yes. Quite slowly, and you can see him pull out his holy symbol to Dianthar and begin saying rites. It's like, I'll attempt to paralyze it. You said it was quite ravenous. I'll attempt to paralyze it. And he will cast paralysis on the creature as you pull it out.
Okay.
And so as you pull it out, he casts, and you see the creature go from like squirming as you're pulling it out, and then hang just limp. And he focuses on the spell while the other one goes and looks at it. Oh, this is quite the unnatural creature, isn't it? I've never seen anything the likes. And he kind of focuses on it, holding his holy symbol, and kind of lays his hand on it, and he's like, I'm not getting any sense that the Anthar's come across something of this nature as well. Whatever it is, it must be quite unnatural. And he's focusing on it longer. Let me see. And he begins casting a spell, and Pete, I don't think you have this spell. No, you don't. He starts casting a spell. You recognize some of the words, but not all of them. He casts a spell, and the creature all of a sudden like glows just a little bit, and he pulls his hand away really quickly. He goes, "Oh, yes, this is quite an unnatural creature. I believe it may even have come from the astral plane."
Sorry, it's not. It's from not of this earth.
From what I can tell, definitely not of this earth.
Okay. Would you mind if we left it with you? You can continue to study it if you wish, but be very, very careful. And or if you're not comfortable with that, we'll just put it back in the chest and then lock it and leave it with you guys. And if you could just have somebody watch it to make sure that it doesn't escape.
Yes, we should be able to keep it contained. Possibly doing some research on it would do us some good. If there's one of them, there may be more. So it might be good to know more about it.
Excellent. So I'll leave the chest and whatnot with them. Suggest that they put it in a room with maybe with one entrance and exit, like no windows or anything.
Yeah, we could put it in the cellar. There's only the one exit out the cellar, and we can lock it up down there.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say a quick prayer to Danthar with them and thank them, and then we can head back to Hundo, I think.
Right. As you put it back in the bag, you see the other priest release the paralysis spell, and then it starts squirming in the bag again. Are you going to leave the hook in it, the grappling hook behind with the rope, or are you going to take it out at this point?
Yeah, I'll leave it in.
Okay. So you put that back in the chest, close it up, and I'll say that they walk you around to the back where you find the entrance to the cellar. Go down, and they have you place it down there. And you guys come back up. You make sure that it is secured, and it seems to be in a good spot for now.
If there's something heavy that's not going to like break the chest, but heavy enough to keep the lid closed, I'll put something on top of it too.
Down in the cellar, you can see it looks like there's a couple extra like pews. So you kind of like rest one across on top of it and use that to keep some weight on the lid.
Perfect.
All right. So while you guys are doing this, you guys are going to be gone for at least a couple hours minimum, especially if, Pete, you're going to spend a little bit of time to pray. So while all this is going on, we jump back over to Hundo. So Hundo, as you're sitting there, roughly about 3 hours go by, and you're on edge, so you're awake. It's getting probably up till pretty close to midnight at this point. And as you're sitting there, you notice two figures in hoods walking by. They kind of look back and forth and then approach the windows. And one of them starts sliding open one of the windows.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just stay. If they're not noticing me, I'm gonna watch them. Watch what they do.
Okay. So they open the window, and then they both climb inside the one window. This you recognize from kind of the layout as being room 8. So they move into room 8.
Okay. And they just climbed in the windows in a stealthy, human-like fashion, right? They didn't slither in or anything.
Yep. These look like just normal humanoids. They have their hoods and cloaks pulled up over their head. So they, are moving quietly and slowly, but you don't see any kind of unnatural movement from them. And they climb in the window. As they climb in the window just like you would expect yourself to have to climb and reach over and climb in.
Do they close it afterwards?
Go ahead and give me a luck check. They do close the window.
Okay.
They close the window and then pull the curtain closed again.
All right. Oh, they pull the curtain closed. Shoot. All right. All right. Well, I quietly go back over to the old man smoking the pipe and say, "Did you see those two guys who just came past?"
So he's around the front, so he wouldn't. From where it is, from the direction they came. You kind of guesstimate, go around and ask him, and he says, "True, folks. No, I haven't seen any movement out here in the recent time."
Two guys in cloaks just went in the back in room 8.
Room 8.
Keep an eye on the front, and I've got an eye on the back.
Aye, I'll be here. All right, so you head around to the back again?
Yeah.
All right. You head back to the front. And hold on just a second. You go back to your same spot that you were hanging out at?
Yeah.
All right. You go and sit back down, and as you sit back down to take your rest, you hear some scuffling behind you. Sounds like something sniffing around.
Not in the room, but
down the alley. Behind you in the alley.
All right. I grab my ion stone and say Pluto, and pull my sword and investigate.
Okay. It's dark in the alley, so there's pretty much no light. None of the lanterns on the street reach this area. In fact, in this part of the town, the only lanterns there even are at like the corners of cross streets. So you're kind of in the middle of the street down an alley. So it's almost pitch black. There's a bit of moonlight, which doesn't give you too much light. So as you're looking around, struggling to see in the dark.
I'll light a torch.
Okay, you light a torch. Unable to see, you pull out a torch. You holster your sword, pull out a torch, and light it. And as you light it, you hear quick footpads of something running towards you, and coming into the light as you light the torch, a large, not large, but a dog, a good-sized dog, leaps at you. It is going to attempt to bite at you. I believe an 8 is going to miss your AC. As it leaps at you, you just are able to catch it out of the corner of your eyes as the light comes up, and you dodge out of the way. And the dog lands and slides and kind of turns and is growling at you. And you notice that there is a brown leathery cap on this dog. It almost goes down and covers its eyes, and it is snarling at you.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I am going to try to chop off the head of this dog here.
All right, go ahead and make an attack. Oh yeah, that is plenty. The dog goes to leap at you one more time, and you're able to pull out your sword, and as it leaps, you move to the side and bring your sword down in one fell swoop and cut this thing's head clean off. The body lands to the ground, the head rolls a few times, and then comes to a stop.
All right. So do I have a slug-looking thing attached to a dog head?
As you go up to investigate, you see that brown cap that's on this creature's head release and begin to start to crawl away.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have my grappling hook anymore, but what I might do is take a couple of arrows and see if I can stake this thing.
Okay. Go ahead and just make me a general attack. So with your attack modifier, so a d20, a d4, and +1. So with a 15, I'd say that is going to be enough. So you pull out an arrow and you go and stab this thing. The arrow sticks into the softer dirt in the alley here, and you see the creature squirming, trying to get free. And you see that again, that purple kind of ooze coming out of the wound.
Okay. And I'm going to do that again just for good measure, so it's a little more fixed.
Okay. I'll say since it's already in place, you don't have to roll for the second attack. You're able to stick the second arrow into it, and you look like it's staying quite well. You don't see like the flesh tearing as it's pulling against this arrow. It looks like the thick hide doesn't tear very easily. So the two arrows in it seem to be keeping it in place while it's struggling to squirm away.
All right. Can I keep an eye on the window from the location where this thing is fixed?
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of the alley, across from the windows. So if you go back to your perch, you can look across the road to see the two windows, and you can look back down the alley and see where the dead body of the wolf or the dog is, and the creature, the creature's pinned to the ground.
Okay. I'm going to do that and wait for the rest of my party to return.
Okay. Do you douse the torch or keep it lit?
I guess I doused it.
Okay. So you just roll it in the dirt to put the torch out, and it goes dark once again. All right. So with that took, 3 hours prior to that. So I'd say, another hour goes by, and the party is returning. You guys knew where Hundo had gone to, so where are you guys going as you come back to the day camp?
Well, we know that those. Well, we don't know it actually. We'll have to talk to Hundo.
So you head around behind where Hundo was?
Yeah, that's what I do. Yes.
All right, so you head around, and you don't see him at first, but as you approach the alley where you remember him being at, Levi, with your vision, you can see Hundo leaning back against the wall on a crate. So Hundo, as you see them come around the corner, they're on the street. You see them before they can see you. So what do you jump up to go greet them, or wait for them to come to you?
Let them come to. I kind of signal them over and whisper, "Hey, where?"
We go over to converse with Hundo in the dark alley.
All right.
And I explain, see that dog's head over there? That's got a slug. And I think the slugs, take over the creature by riding on its face. And two people, maybe our guys, crawled into the back windows of the motel or the hotel, the inn there, and they're in room 8 right now. So we've got them, and maybe they've got slugs on their heads too, or maybe not. I don't know.
I think we should talk to them while they're in there. If we know they're in there.
Well, how should we approach this? Surely somebody should guard the back exit, and then somebody storms in from the front.
Yeah,
I
or
agree.
can we block off the windows so they can't escape through the back, and then we could just go into the front door?
Yeah, Martin, what's your class?
I'm a thief.
You're a thief.
Yeah.
So if we left you by the back window, you could backstab anybody who came through the window, huh?
Oh.
Yeah, if you were hiding in the back, somebody came out the window, you would get a backstab opportunity on them because they would be unaware of you.
Well, but I am one person, and those are two people. So, unless you feel like you can get one of them under control, and then only the other one I have to deal with, that would be okay.
Well, I think the plan is that Levi and I and Pete front door, and I don't know. I mean, coming in the back seems like climbing in the back window is more vulnerable than coming through the front. And it does seem like anybody's going to crawl through that window. It seems like you should be able to zap up pretty hard if you get a backstab.
Right. We don't know that we don't necessarily want to kill these guys. If, like, they're just being controlled because they were once good dudes. Like,
It's a good point.
the only thing they're guilty of is having a bad attitude coming in this last time.
It's an excellent point. Although I think I'd rather kill them than let them get away. But especially if they're being ridden by extraterrestrial slugs. I guess I don't know that they're interdimensional slugs yet, but you'll tell me that at some point. Well, what do you think, guys? You want to crash these guys?
Is there any driftwood or like boards or anything in the back alley here that we could just grab to put in front of the windows?
There's a couple crates and a barrel that you think you could move, and that's about it. There's not like scrap wood or anything like that.
Because what we could do is maybe just move some of these barrels to at least block off one of the building's back windows. Somebody can watch the other one, and then the rest can go in the front.
Well, we know they're in room 8, or they went in room 8, and we don't think they'll come out.
Oh, they didn't go into both? Okay, well, then even better. We can just barricade the one window.
That's correct, right?
Yeah,
Shadow?
yeah, they both went in room 8.
All right. Well, I think your admonition about they could be good guys is well heard here. So instead of crashing the door, maybe we'll try knocking first and see what's up. But I do think somebody should. Well, all right. Then block that a little bit in the back.
I mean, I'm okay with like busting in the door just so they don't escape before we notice, but not necessarily backstabbing them if they just leave.
I've already had to pay that poor lady to buy a chest offer, so maybe we could try just picking the lock first, and then if that doesn't work, kick the door down.
Right.
I like it.
All right. So you move you can use like 2 crates and a barrel, and you feel like that's enough to at least block the majority of the window. I'll need 2 of you to roll together in order to move these things. Just give me, we'll say strength checks. So who are the 2 that are going to be moving the crates?
I'll help. I have at least a +1.
Okay.
I've got a 14 strength, so I'll help.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't do well.
All right, you guys are able to move them, fine, but with the weight, you guys do make a bit of noise. So you end up like, as you're trying to move it there, you end up like shifting it, and it like hits the back of the building. So you make some noise, but you're able to do it.
As soon as I make some noise, I'm gonna run to the front.
Okay. You guys all running around to the front?
Yes, so.
Yep.
All right. As you approach the front, everything seems calm and quiet. You don't see any light coming out from like underneath the door.
Well, they don't have eyes, so they probably don't need light.
Go in.
Mark, go, quietly open that, see if you can pick that door.
All right, I'll try to be quiet.
All right. No
looks good.
problem. Yeah, you pick the lock and you don't even hear the tumbler click. You just feel it.
Man, they really gotta change these doors at some point.
I look back at the old man smoking a pipe and give him a thumbs up.
He doesn't even respond. He just takes a couple more puffs from his pipe.
All right. And I'm going to go in the door first.
Right. You open the door.
Look up.
Go ahead. What was that? You were saying something?
I was just saying, look up when you go in.
Okay. Good advice.
You open the door, and as you open the door, you see the two figures turn quickly. They were looking out the back window.
Yeah.
And they turn quickly at you. And with this point, I'm going to go ahead and throw us all into initiative just for the sake of everything that happens here. So you guys can go ahead and roll your initiative.
Why is this always here? Let's see.
All right. And these guys have a +1 to initiative. That is an 11, so 12 total. Let me see, can I add just a... No. Alright, so I'll just know that they go after Hundo. Alright, so with that, you open the door, they turn to look at you guys. Pete, you are up. You see Hundo open and like step inside and stop.
All right, I'm gonna cast paralysis. Before I do so, I'm just gonna say you need to surrender. And then I'm gonna cast paralysis, which, yes, it's like threatening, but it's not like I'm doing damage.
Yep. All right, go ahead and cast. It's fairly dark in the room, but you can make out the shapes as like there's a little bit of light coming through the back window that they currently have open. So it looks like your hands and melee weapons are charged with energy of paralysis. Charge lasts. Go ahead and roll that d4. So that is going to be your level 2 right now, right? So yeah, five rounds is how long the spell lasts on you and your weapons. If you hit a creature, it'll make a will save versus a 15. So I'll make a note of that. Versus 15. And if they get paralyzed, go ahead and roll that d6. They will not be able to take physical actions for 5 rounds as well. All right. So you cast that. You feel your staff become magically charged and your hands. And Hundo, you are up.
All right. Do they have obvious weapons in their hands?
Not at the moment.
All right. Can I try to do a non-lethal punch to the face? Like a knockout?
Absolutely. So you'll go charging forward. So this will be basically unarmed. So you'll still roll like just a regular attack. So that'd be your d20 and your d4 +1. Your mighty deed is to just knock them out.
Yeah.
Well, the natural 20. So for that, go ahead and roll me what's your crit table there? All right.
What's my...
You are, for crits, you roll a d14 on table 3. So go ahead and roll me a d14. This will be a d14 -1.
And I didn't -1, so
That's
6.
fine. So 6. All right. So 6 on crit table 3. Brutal strike to the torso. Go ahead and roll me a D8. Go ahead and roll a D4 and a D8. So D4 for unarmed, and then D8 for your damage for this. Multiple broken ribs. You feel a solid strike as you charge in. They weren't quite prepared for you. You do 3 points of damage to them. So you run in and hit him, and you see the one that you hit like curl over in pain, but you don't hear any sound. Like it doesn't let out a cry of pain of any kind, but you see it react to the punch to the gut.
All right.
All right.
I don't have movement left, but is there? Is there an obvious leathery thing on top of his head?
You can't tell right now. Both of the hoods are still pulled up.
Okay.
All right. On their turn, the one that you punched is going to stand back up, and they are both going to attack against you.
Yep.
Does a 15 hit? I don't think so, right? No. 15 misses as he goes to strike at you.
Yeah, I'm a 16.
Yeah. And then the second one, they both go to swing at you, but miss. At this point, you see them reach into their sides and pull out a dagger underneath their cloaks. All right, Levi, you are up.
I'm gonna try to grab the hood off of one.
All right, so you charge in. Just give me an agility check for that as you run in and try to pull the hood off of him. Yeah, that'd be plenty. You run up and are able to pull the hood up. They seem focused on Hundo at the time, so they almost don't even see you run in. You pull the hood off of one, and you do see a brown leathery cap on its head. Not covering the eyes, but, basically like someone's wearing a beanie.
Let's pull these off before killing these guys, if at all possible.
All right. Martin, you are up.
Okay. I'll definitely try doing exactly that. I'll run in and, without any weapons, just try pulling on the one that has been exposed.
Okay. So with that, go ahead and you can just roll like a normal dagger attack. We'll just consider it as unarmed.
Okay.
That is definitely enough to grab it. Go ahead and give me a strength check to try to pull this thing off of his head.
Okay. Oh, strength, not so good.
You give a mighty tug, and you can see him, it seems like this thing has got quite a grip on this guy's head. So as you pull on it, you're unable to pull it off, but you've got a hold of it right now.
All right.
Right. Pete said that he will attack one of the slugs and try to attach the paralysis. So he will go up and try to smack that. So I'll go ahead and roll an attack for him. He'll be using his magic staff to give it a smack. Oof, misses. Not quite a critical fail, so not too bad. All right, so he goes to swing and misses as the melee is starting to get a bit wild. All right, Hundo, you're up.
All right. I think the priority is I guess I'm going to try to disarm the guy right in front of me here.
Okay.
So I've got a hand or whatever, but get that dagger out of his hand.
All right.
What do you think? A D20 and a D4 again?
Go ahead and just attack with your normal longsword, because that'll roll all this stuff for you. That's fine. We'll just consider it as you're trying to disarm him and everything. That'll be a miss. So as you go to strike at him and try to disarm him, he dodges out of the way. All right. With that, we're still there. So with that, they will both attack one more time with their daggers. One attack versus Martin, one attack versus Hundo. So first attack versus Martin or Kurt. That is only a 5, so that'll miss. And then versus Hundo. Oof, natural 20 to Hundo as the dagger comes up finding a spot just between your armor. It's going to do 4 points of damage. Ends up coming up and he like punches you in the jaws. You take the dagger to the side. He brings his fist around and punches you in the jaw. A mighty blow, doing 1 more point of damage. And you lose 1 tooth. So you're going to take 4 points of damage from the dagger in the side. So I'll apply that. And 1 point of damage. Oops, I applied that to the wrong person. So let me put that back.
Oh, I just did it.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
I had it down to 16. That's right?
So right now you should be, 16. So put yourself down to 16. I accidentally did that wrong. Okay. So with that, you take that attack. Pete, you missed on your attack, and Hundo's been attacked. Martin dodged his attack. Okay. So with that, we are up to Levi. You are up.
I'm gonna try to grab that one off. The one that just attacked Thunder.
Okay. So that'll just be you can do a general attack to grab a hold of it, and then it'll be a strength check after to pull it off. Oh yeah. You whip the hood back, grab, and go ahead and give me a strength check, and you're gonna have a +2 on this. Oof, not enough though. So with an 8, you yank hard, and you feel his head like pull back. Like you give it a nice strong, but this thing is viciously grabbed onto this thing, as you're trying to pull it off. These things seem resistant to being pulled off at the time. They have grabbed a hold of these guys and do not want to let go. All right. Oh yeah, and then fleeting luck, Hundo, you should have 1 fleeting luck as well for your crit. All right. All right, with that then, we're up to Martin. You've got a hold of the one that attacked you.
Yep. I'll try pulling again.
All right. This time you feel, you give a hard turn and you can see blood now coming down from underneath the hood, or underneath the leather cap on his head, and starting to stream down the guy's face. So as you're pulling, you can tell the teeth are digging into this guy's head.
Is this a case where I can burn any luck?
Yeah, you can burn some luck. So for the thief, if you burn 1 point of luck, you roll a d4 for each point of luck that you burn.
Okay. Do I know what I need to reach? Or do I just roll and then you tell me if I reached?
I would say go ahead and roll 1d4 for 1 luck.
Okay.
All right, the 14, that is going to be enough. You yank hard, and as you yank hard, the person in front of you simply collapses to the ground. And the leech now in your head has started squirming around in your hand.
Oh, Jesus, can you... Oh, somebody give me a chest.
All right, with that, we're up to Pete. You still got your paralysis charge.
I will attempt that again. I'm assuming the other one still has a thing on his head.
Yep.
Okay. No.
Not enough. Again, it dodges out of the way, and the commotion you get kind of bumped into and swing wildly and miss. All right, Hundo, you're up.
Okay, so to pull it off, it's an attack roll and then a strength check.
Yes, because you haven't grabbed a hold of it yet. So yeah, you got to do a strength check to grab it. All right, plenty to grab it. So you reach over, grab it. Now give me a strength check to pull it off. With a 19, I'll give you a plus 1 on that. Oh yeah, no problem. So you two grab a hold of the leech, yank it off, and as you do, you see the body go limp and collapse to the ground. So you are both now holding on to these slug-like leech creatures, and they're both kind of squirming in your hands.
Any reason to keep these alive?
No, we already got a sample, so go ahead and kill it.
Yeah, let's kill the leeches.
All right. I'll say that since you guys got a hold of them, I'm not going to make you roll to attack and kill these things. They don't have a ton of health, so you're able to kill both of these creatures. As you basically stab into them, the purple ooze starts coming out of it, and they go limp.
Let's try to see about these guys?
Yeah, I'll look at the guys. Are they alive or?
You look at them, and I'm assuming you guys light up a torch or something because it is dark in the room.
Right. Yeah.
All right. As
I
you
light
light the
it.
torch, you can see the heads are like just blood has been coming out of them like crazy, and as you look, the hair on the top like back of their head is gone, and you can see there's probably like a 3-inch hole in the skull, and
So
these guys look dead.
yeah, it was the leeches that were keeping them. They were vessels.
Puppet masters.
Yeah. Damn. Let's search them and see if there's anything of get clues, on them.
All right, you are searching them and looking through their inventory. You see a sack. Both of them have like a pouch on them, so they both have a basic dagger. They got their robes and things like that, and then they both have, I'll say, total between them. They have 30 silver pieces. And 4 gold pieces.
They can't spend it now.
All right, so I'll just put that in chat. So remember, 30 silver pieces and 4 gold pieces. And then searching through as well, you notice that there is one other sack that one of them has on him, and the sack seems to be moving around a little bit.
Does
They
it
brought
seem very
friends
similar
to-
to the sack that we had?
What's that?
Does it seem very similar to the sack that we had?
This is more like another coin pouch, so it's like that size. It's very small.
Oh. These things start small and grow big, I guess. What do you guys want to do with it?
Yeah.
Is anybody there looking inside?
Yes, but I think it's
Uh,
a smaller thing.
I'm just gonna smash it first and then look.
All right. You stomp
Fair
on
enough.
it and then open it up, and as you look inside, it looks like there are. You can't tell how many now because they're smushed, but it looks like there were several of those slug creatures, but very, very small.
Oh, they're
Oh
playing.
god.
From your
Now-
guesstimate, they were probably like 2 to 3 inches long, probably.
Who originally commissioned us on this adventure?
Yourselves, you heard that the iron hadn't come for quite a while. You know that the Eastern Party hasn't returned. So when these people returned and were behaving very oddly from what you overheard over another table, you just came to investigate.
So we've got good reason to think that a whole mine to the east has been overtaken by subterranean intergalactic slug creatures.
Possibly now the port as well.
Awesome.
Plus possible adventurers, the team that got sent out there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, it seems like the first thing we want to do is alert the local authorities and make sure there's no other slugs in town.
Yeah.
And then I think we want to put together a party to go east with some information about what's happened.
That sounds like a pretty good plan.
And we need to deal with that one that I left with the church.
Yeah.
Presumably just kill it. But
I would say in your comings and goings, as you guys were coming back to the port quarter, and you've passed a couple of the general city militia, the guards for the night. So you can easily go flag them down and bring them here if you'd like.
I think we do that, and we use like the dog's head as an example of what was going on, and explain that they're could be more of these that we've got to be on the alert for.
All right. Do you tell the guards about the one that's at the Temple of Dianthar?
I think we should, because
I'll leave that to Pete.
we have evidence.
Yeah, that I would say that's our evidence, because otherwise they're just going to think we brained these guys.
Yeah, you have the 2 dead ones here, but you let them know, like, there's a living one there if you guys, need to use that for any kind of investigation or anything that they could possibly do. So you tell them the whole story, basically everything that's happened so far, and you can see, like, they look quite worried. These guys, being night militia, they're not really well-trained guards. Not a lot of crime in this area. So they've never come across anything like this. They're not adventurers. They seem a bit nervous. And one of them will stay and the other one will take off. It's like, let me take this back to our commanding officer and we'll bring over some more and get to investigating. This is quite worrisome if something like this is in town. That's quite worrisome. And he takes off quickly and like at a jog, not a full sprint, but at a jog, heading off to wherever his commanding officer is.
All right. And I think we'll be at the bar for the rest of the night, and then in the morning, I think we want to put together a party for going east. Maybe hire a couple guys.
Yeah, maybe at least one more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those knights that I converted would be maybe a good asset.
Yeah.
Go find those guys and tell them we got a job.
Absolutely. All right, so you guys hang out for a little while. About 3 or 4 more guards show up. They bring with them a couple workers with a cart, and they get to, loading the bodies and things like that. They ask you your questions and feel pretty confident in what you're telling them is the truth. So they aren't assuming that you just straight murdered these guys. With the evidence of the dead slugs and the dog and the slug, and then telling them about the one at the Temple of Dianthar. They tell you, hey, don't leave town right away. We need to, verify this information as best we can prior to leaving. So please stay in town until we get this all sorted and clarified.
All right, but also tell your captains that, we're planning to go east. We think that mine to the east is suffering from these things, and we're putting together a party if they want to contribute to that effort.
All right, we'll make sure they know.
I also would suggest that the information that these things, like, they grab onto the head and affect the brain. So anybody, any let's say constabulary that come across people wearing hoods, maybe stop those people for a polite check, pull the hood down, just to make sure that it's not somebody doesn't have one of these things attached to their head.
Aye, that's good thinking. Good thinking.
All right.
All right. So you guys probably takes you an hour or so after after you took these 2 guys down for everything else to happen, and they let you go on your way. So you guys, live in town, so you guys can go back to your own homes, or you can head back to the tavern, or whatever you want to do. But you guys end up going off for the rest of the night, agreeing. If you guys don't hang out for the whole night, you agree on when to meet up in the morning back at the tavern, and are able to set off for the night. So with that, we're just about to 11 o'clock, so we will go ahead and pause and call it here. So thank you guys for playing. Thank you for watching this episode of Stories from Valtara. If you're interested in playing DCC but don't know where to start, check out the Dungeon Crawlers Discord link below, where countless open games are posted both online and in person. And if you're enjoying the series, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.